When you hear the words investment genius, you're most likely to turn to Warren Buffett or George Soros. But this talk isn't about them. This is about everyone. How to educate the masses on building sound long-term portfolios to create a generation defined by financial freedom. Now first, a little background on equity markets. The oldest publicly traded stock was the Dutch East India Company on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. Now at that time, if you wanted to buy that stock, you had to be a wealthy or well-connected individual with capital to spare. But then things changed. The broker-dealer came about. This was someone who would help individuals, yes, individuals, purchase these shares and collect a commission for their work. The trend of broker-dealerships continued for quite some time, with some even charging a 50% commission. Could you believe that? And because of this, the majority of people didn't want to invest in the stock market. In 1952, only 4.2% of America was invested in stocks because of the massive barriers to entry that were put in place by the system. But the lucky few who were invested were winning. The S&P 500 was at this point returning roughly 22% per year. Now, how is the problem of all these barriers to entry going to be solved? The answer is simple: the internet. We are now seeing a meteoric rise in zero-commission brokerages. These are websites that allow anyone, yes, anyone, to trade stocks without paying a commission. You'd think that more people would get invested into this new idea, pun intended, and while this has resulted in improvement, to this day a very large percentage of Americans are still uninvested in the stock market, roughly 42% according to Gallup. The reason for all of this is because, once again, of more barriers to entry. Not in the form of depriving investors of returns via large extensive commissions, but depriving them of knowledge via a lack of quality education. We've seen the feats that individuals invested in the stock market can accomplish even with extensive commissions. But now that zero-commission brokerages have disrupted the industry, what is stopping a large percentage of everyday citizens from investing? Simple answer is, the professionals don't want them to. The mutual fund managers and investment professionals want individuals to invest solely through their partnerships so they can collect as much money from AUM fees as possible, while the bulk of people's finances will remain average. This is reflected in education, as only 32% of students learn about the stock market in school. 32%. How can we allow 68% of our students to have little to no understanding of such a vital segment of the economy? Back in the early days of finance, we had no scalable way to mass educate up stock market investing. Learning for adolescents happened through textbooks being read by a teacher, and there was no way to ensure that every individual school had a finance professional to teach a class. This worked for a time, but educational online content has made access to information exponentially easier in recent years. In fact, many schools will now use online learning platforms along with lectures delivered by teachers. Now that there are free online courses widely available, it is time for human society to come together and create an incentive for financial market education in classrooms. By now, I'm sure that a lot of you are thinking something along the lines of, but I find economics boring and stupid. The hard truth is, understanding capital markets is the only way that millennials and Generation Z will be able to build wealth in a changing macroeconomic environment. In the 20th century, all it took was a low-cost index fund to invest retirement. Low-cost index fund, that was all it took. But as the 20th century has turned to the 21st, macroeconomic conditions have soured due to late-stage capitalism. However, despite this, we have seen a large amount of price movement in equity markets that young people must learn to capitalize on if they are to enjoy the freedom that was given to their parents and grandparents. So in conclusion, now that many barriers to entry have been ripped down, it is time for a global incentive to teach the masses about investing in stocks to build wealth. If you can just teach more people even basic financial literacy, then mass financial freedom will follow as portfolio values grow. If you take away one thing from this presentation, let it be this: we can no longer simply receive financial freedom from a job in index fund investing. We need to take charge of our financial futures ourselves and build our retirements off of investment portfolios. Thank you.